My name is Briana Ariel, and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of Freed Magazine. Freed Magazine actually came out of a very, very hard season in my life. So I was young, I was married in this quote-unquote like beautiful relationship. I had a great job. Basically my life was quote-unquote perfect. Time went past and I realized like my husband at the time, he had an alcohol problem. My life was pretty much like flipped upside down where he became abusive. Honestly, in the beginning of our relationship, it was a blessing to have one other person to walk out their salvation with me and grow with me. So I believe like that season of our relationship is what solidified me to move forward in getting married a couple years later. 6 months into marriage was the first indicator of this becoming an abusive situation. And I was caught off guard. We hadn't even had a fight yet. When things were good, they were good. And when things were bad, they were very, very bad. So things didn't get bad again until right after I had my daughter. I was sitting in this place of brokenness and I didn't want to tell anybody. I just had a baby. So, I have a 3-week-old daughter and I'm realizing like, wow, this situation is horrible. Like, what am I going to do? So I was praying one day, crying out to God, like, Lord, I need you to get me through this. But the cry was different. It went from like real crying to crying with no tears. And I don't know if you've ever cried with no tears, where it's just like almost like a weeping, but no sound. And it was just like the most broken of broken places. And I remember sitting there praying and crying. And then all of a sudden it was like it was lifted, like immediately lifted. The whole weight of everything was just gone. And I'm still in this space. I'm still in this toxic room. And honestly, in the room I had my daughter, and then we were actually barricaded in the room. And that was like my normal. So that night I was like, wow, what is this feeling? Like nothing has changed in my life. Like I'm still in this situation, except I felt free from it. And it was just such a beautiful experience. And then that continued until like the Lord showed me how to remove myself and like get out of that, which was a couple weeks later. When my marriage ended, no one knew about it, like at all. Not parents, not siblings, friends. I felt like a failure. And I felt like it was my fault because I made the wrong choice in selecting a person who I genuinely believed was a good fit for me. And I felt like maybe I didn't hear from God. I just was doubting myself. And then just the shame of, oh man, this is gonna let so many people down. So I'm just going on with life and I'm just doing my photography business. And the Holy Spirit was like, I want you to do a magazine. So I said, no. I was like, I don't want to do it. Like, Lord, you see my plate is completely full. Like, no, you have the wrong person. No, I'm okay. And like one day I was driving, I was getting on the highway and I was like, all right, Lord, if you want me to do it, I need you to show me completely. I need to see your hand in every single step or I'm not doing it. I'm not moving. I refuse. And I get an email from my boss saying, hey, you just received a bonus in X amount. And then I got a week paid time off on the same day that I just finally surrendered to God. Like, hey, I'll do it if you show me. And that was his way of showing me hey, I'll provide for it. I'll give you the resources for it. So I took that time off probably a couple weeks later and started Freed Magazine. I went and used the money to start it up, and I got counseling on how to go about certain things, and that's where it was birthed.
As Freed Magazine began to grow, Briana still struggled to share her own personal testimony.
I felt like a hypocrite. And it's wow, I created this great platform for people to share their testimonies and their art, yet I'm still ashamed. I'm not even ready to share my own testimony. And I was like, okay, Lord, if you give me the opportunity, I'll share mine. So, you say stuff like that, you don't really mean it. You're just like, oh, this is the spiritual thing to say. Like, if you give me the opportunity, I'll do it. So I remember saying that prayer, and then a week later, we had a meetup in DC with Michelle Anna, and she knew my testimony, and she was like, hey, it's time for you to share. I felt nervous, for one, because I'm sharing just a secret part of me, and I felt like I didn't want people to look down on me, or I think I looked down on myself more than anything else. But when I shared it, the response was just love, and compassion. And what I realized, by not sharing my testimony, I was robbing God of his glory. I hope that Freed Magazine, it's already international, which is great, but I would hope that it would grow to be in everyone's home, or to at least be a conversation starter where people can come together and truly share an authentic relationship. Because Freed Magazine right now is actually countercultural, because in our culture right now, it's only share the good things, only share the positives, only post your best. But we're asking people, hey, share your dirt with us, share what God did in your dirt. And that's hard to do because no one wants to share. I mean, I created Freed Magazine and I barely want to share my dirt, but I believe through testimonies, that's how we truly impact the world. And for me, being a believer, I've impacted more non-believers than anything just through my testimony. And Freed Magazine, it's Christian-based, but our true target market are the lost and the broken. If you know God's planted something in your heart, just take a leap of faith, because sometimes we want to see the end result instead of, all right, if I take 2 steps, God will show me the next 2. And I say go with the journey, go for it, and just let God move in you.